Have you ever looked at a group of friends and wondered, how do they interact with each other? They're so different. Their personalities are vastly different. How do they make that work? Or maybe you have two close friends and they got together with each other and you're wondering, they don't seem like they would be a match at all, yet somehow they are. Well, if you've asked these questions, you're not alone. Someone else has asked them, me, just now. So, I want to figure out the answer to those questions, and that's what I'm going to do. What does being introverted or extroverted mean to you?
For me, when I think of those two different categories that are like very polarizing, or not polarizing, but very different ends of the spectrum, I think introverted as in being more to yourself, a little bit more timid, or even just like finding your energy in your alone time. Not so much around other people. And extroverted, well, the opposite, you tend to recharge around large crowds or people you trust, or have an easier time confronting strangers, connecting more with a general crowd. I think that's it.
I guess being more social is extroverted, being more antisocial, introverted. But if you really want to dig deep, I think it would be very, very difficult to be like introverted.
Well, as I can be both, I'd say introverted is just being quiet, being more to yourself, and extroverted is just being with people, lots of people, being openly expressive and happy, whereas introverted, you're just more quiet.
I think being introverted or extroverted, it's more of like how do you react to things and the approach that you take, especially in social settings. Well, you might have a more introverted person that might just try to keep it more to themselves, or like think more about how they're gonna react in a public setting. Maybe you have a extroverted person that just goes for the first thought that they have in their brain, or like just goes with their gut feeling for most things and just takes things head on.
The proper definition, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, of an introvert is a person who is a typically reserved or quiet person who tends to be introspective and enjoys spending time alone, versus an extroverted person who is typically a sociable and unreserved person who enjoys and seeks out social interaction. Many people will confuse introversion with being shy. However, being shy is an emotion, while being an extrovert is a personality aspect. The two may correlate, but many introverts describe themselves as focusing more on themselves and preferring to be away from other people. Having a social battery, they must recharge alone. Extroverts seek out others, recharging their social batteries by interacting with others and building off their energy.
Would you say you're more introverted or extroverted?
I think that's pretty hard to gauge for me. I am very extroverted in the correct social setting, but I do value my alone time a lot. I'd say that's where most of my reflection and growth comes from as a person. So if there's a midpoint, I'd say that.
You know, that's a very difficult question. Probably more extroverted, but it kind of gets me in a lot of trouble, so probably more introverted now.
Say more extroverted. I like people, I like talking, and I consider myself a friendly person.
Honestly, I think I'm more of a introverted person that once you get to know me, I become more extroverted little by little. A lot of my friends like to say that I'm extroverted, and that's just because they know me for a really long time. But at first, I try to be very closed up to myself and try to like really read the room and see if I can trust or not the environment that I'm in.
According to an August 2023 study done on heterosexual couples by Tanya Horwitz, a doctoral candidate in the Department of Psychology and Neuroscience in the Institute of Behavioral Genetics, traits like religion, political opinions, and level of education showed a lower correlation, meaning these things are less likely to affect a relationship, while traits like substance abuse showed a much higher ability to affect a relationship. However, Traits like extroversion and introversion proved almost nothing. As Horowitz states, people have all these theories that extroverts like introverts or introverts like other introverts, but the fact of the matter is that it's like flipping a coin. Extroverts are similarly likely to end up with extroverts as with introverts.
Do you think that you attract friends or partners that are more introverted or extroverted?
I would say more extroverted people. A mixture, but majority extroverted. My partners are usually very extroverted, as well as my close friends. I find it harder to get closer with more introverted people, so there's less, but I do value them like as friends just as much.
Probably more extroverted just because the people that actually get out are more extroverted.
Probably a mixture of both. I talk to a lot of quiet people, but also interact with a lot of people who are hyper.
I think I attract more introverted people in general. Yeah, all my life I've been surrounded by, or I've decided to be surrounded by friends who tend to be more introverted in general. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I think everyone has kind of like a mixture, but I'm definitely more on the introverted side of friends.
So, overall, it's clear that results are, well, unclear. People aren't more likely to end up with one or the other. Humans are complicated beings, and so are their relationships. Only one thing all relationships should have in common is both parties being happy and fulfilled, whether or not you're an introvert or an extrovert.